So in the criminal justice system, I feel like there are two words that most people get confused or use interchangeably. And that is, I realize that people don't know the difference between being charged with a crime versus being convicted of crime. So I'm going to explain the difference between the two. Now, being charged with a crime simply just means that a prosecutor has formally accused you in court of committing a crime. Doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong per se. It just simply means that you are being accused. And this is where the presumption of innocence still attaches. That means that even though you've been accused of a crime, you are still presumed innocent unless or until you have been found guilty. I know a lot of people don't feel as though in the criminal process that when you're accused of a crime, you're actually treated as though you are still innocent, but that is what the Constitution actually requires. Now, in order to get to a place where a prosecutor has charged you with a crime, they would have needed to have probable cause that you committed that crime. And probable cause simply is that there is reason to believe that a crime has been committed and that you are the one who has committed that crime. And that is it. So it is a pretty low standard. This is not the same standard that a prosecutor would have to prove for purposes of going to trial and actually finding you guilty. Which brings me to my second definition, a conviction. So a conviction is a formal finding by a judge or a jury that you are actually committed a crime, meaning that you have been found guilty of a crime. Now, you can also plead guilty to a crime as well, but the judge actually has to accept your guilty plea at the end of the day. And so a conviction is a lot different than being charged with a crime, because now that you have been found guilty or you have pled guilty, the presumption of innocence goes away, right? Once you've pled guilty or you've been found guilty, you are no longer presumed innocent. And so the consequences of being found guilty then attach. And that means that you can be on probation, you can serve a jail sentence, and so many other consequences that are associated with being found guilty. So just know that being charged with a crime is completely different than being convicted of a crime. Being charged is a much lower standard, and being convicted requires a much higher standard to be proven in court. So I hope that information is helpful to you, and if you found this information helpful, like and follow for more.